This is a real thing. A strange man brought gasoline into the subway car and inexplicably ignited it. The fire spread at an alarming speed, and although the driver tried his best to put out the fire extinguisher was almost useless. But within 2 minutes of the fire starting, all 6 cars of train 1079 were on fire, and now the air was full of toxic gases. At the same time, the control center saw some smoke through monitoring, but did not realize that it was an arson incident. They tried to contact the train driver, but there was no response. The control center could only control the train that was about to arrive to enter the station carefully. When train 1080 entered the platform, the driver stopped the station as usual, and the doors opened automatically, and thick smoke immediately filled the car. He quickly closed the door to try to prevent the smoke from entering the car, but it was a fatal mistake. The passengers found that the train next to them was gradually engulfed by flames. However, they did not know that the doors of the train closed automatically due to the fire. At the same time, as the fire doors in the station were closed, the power was cut off. Then, the emergency lights failed, and thick smoke raged in the dim space. As the smoke continued to seep into the carriages, the passengers in the 1080 train instinctively looked for an exit, but found that the train was out of power. A few minutes later, the passengers began to shout frantically, trying to open the doors in the dark to escape, but the toxic gas gradually made them lose consciousness. At this time, the 6 carriages of the 1079 train had been completely engulfed by the flames, and those passengers who had successfully escaped were also blocked by the fire doors in the darkness and smoke. At this time, the driver of the 1080 train once again informed the passengers through the radio to stay calm, and the power would be restored soon, and the train could leave at that time. Unfortunately, it was because of the driver's 2 wrong decisions that most of the 140 passengers in the carriage fell into a coma. Although firefighters rushed to the scene after receiving the alarm, they were unable to put out the fire immediately. When the firefighters entered the carriage to search and rescue, all 140 passengers trapped in the carriage were reduced to ashes, and another 52 people died on the platform. After analysis, train number 1080 should not have been told to enter the station, and the 2 train drivers were held accountable for major mistakes, while the culprit who caused the disaster was sentenced to life imprisonment for arson and murder.